Hi, everyone. Welcome back to our English Learning Podcast. Today, we're talking about a situation that many of us encounter. Being at the airport. Airports can be a bit stressful, especially if you're not sure what phrases to use. So, we're here to help. I'm Emma, and I'm here with my co-host, Ben. Hi, Ben.
Hi, Emma. Hi, everyone. Airports are definitely places where you need to know some key English phrases, whether you're checking in, going through security, or boarding your flight. Let's break down the process step by step and explain useful vocabulary as we go.
Great idea, Ben. So let's start at the beginning. Checking in. When you arrive at the airport, the first thing you usually do is check in. Check-in means registering yourself and your luggage for the flight. You might hear someone say, "Where's the check-in counter?" Or, "I'd like to check in for my flight."
Exactly. A counter is just a desk where you can talk to an airline employee. And when you check in, you often need to show your passport, which is the document that proves your identity and nationality. You'll also need your boarding pass, which is the ticket that lets you get on the plane.
Right. And if you have luggage, you'll hear the term baggage drop-off. This is where you leave your suitcases to be put onto the plane. Sometimes the airline will ask you, "Do you have any checked luggage?" This means, do you have any large bags that need to go in the airplane's cargo hold, instead of carrying them with you in the cabin?
Checked luggage is different from carry-on luggage. Carry-on refers to the small bag you can take with you on the plane. For example, you might have a backpack or a small suitcase as your carry-on. So, when they ask, "How many bags are you checking?" they want to know about your large suitcases, not your carry-on.
Exactly. And once you've checked your bags, the next step is to go through security. This can be a little stressful, but it's just where they check to make sure you're not carrying anything dangerous. You might hear, "Please remove your shoes and belt," or "Place your electronics in a separate bin."
Yes, and a bin is just a plastic container where you put your items to be scanned. They'll ask you to put things like your laptop, phone, or liquids into the bin. Liquids, by the way, include anything like water, shampoo, or lotion, and they usually have to be in small containers.
After security, you'll head to the departure gate. The gate is where you wait to board your flight. You might hear an announcement like, "Flight 123 to New York is now boarding at gate 15. Boarding means it's time to get on the plane.
Yes, and when they say boarding, they often do it in groups. For example, now boarding Group A. If you're in Group A, you can get on the plane. If not, you have to wait for your group to be called.
And sometimes you'll hear "final call for boarding," which means it's the last chance to get on the plane before the doors close. You definitely don't want to miss the final call.
Absolutely. Now, let's talk about some other important phrases you might hear at the airport. One common phrase is layover. A layover is when you stop in one city on your way to another city. For example, if you're flying from London to Tokyo with a layover in Dubai, that means you'll stop in Dubai before continuing to Tokyo.
Exactly. Layovers can be short or long. If it's a long layover, you might have time to leave the airport and explore the city. But if it's short, you'll probably just stay at the airport. Another important word is delayed. If a flight is delayed, it means it's not leaving on time. So you might hear, "Your flight has been delayed by 2 hours.
Right. And if a flight is delayed too long or canceled, you might need to rebook your flight. Rebook means you need to arrange a new flight. You can go to the airline's counter and say, "I need to rebook my flight, please."
Yes, and sometimes, if your flight is canceled and the airline doesn't have another flight available, they might offer to compensate you. This means they'll give you money or some other benefit, like a hotel room, for the inconvenience.
Compensation is great if your plans are really disrupted. Now, once you're on the plane, there are a few more phrases you'll want to know. For example, seatbelt and fasten your seatbelt. The seatbelt is the strap that goes across your lap to keep you safe during takeoff and landing. The flight attendants will tell you, "Please fasten your seatbelts."
Yes, and once the plane takes off, you might hear cruising altitude. This is the height at which the plane flies after takeoff. You might hear the captain say, "We've reached our cruising altitude of 35,000 feet.
That's right. And during the flight, if you need something, you can ask the flight attendants for help. For example, "Excuse me, can I have a blanket? Or could I get a glass of water?" They're there to assist you during the flight.
And when the plane lands, you'll hear the phrase, we've begun our descent. This means the plane is going down and getting ready to land. Descent is the opposite of ascent, which is when the plane takes off and goes up into the air.
Once you land and get off the plane, you'll head to baggage claim. This is where you pick up your checked luggage. You might hear an announcement like, "Baggage from Flight 456 will be available at Carousel 3. A carousel is a moving belt that brings out your suitcases.
Exactly. So, after you grab your luggage, you might need to go through customs if you're traveling internationally. Customs is where you declare any goods you're bringing into the country, especially if they're valuable or restricted.
That's right. The customs officers might ask, "Do you have anything to declare?" Which means they want to know if you're bringing in anything special, like alcohol or expensive items. If you don't have anything to declare, you can just say, "No, I don't."
And after that, you're free to go. You might need to find transportation, like a taxi or bus. One useful phrase is, "Where can I catch a taxi?" Or, "Is there a shuttle service to the hotel?" A shuttle is a small bus that takes you to your destination, often for free.
Great tips, Emma. Well, that's all for today's episode. We hope you learned a lot about airport-related English. Make sure to practice these phrases next time you're at the airport.
Yes, and thanks for joining us today. Remember, learning English is all about practicing. We'll see you next time with more tips and conversations. Safe travels, everyone.